Hello, everyone, and good afternoon, and welcome to our high school Facebook Live session, where we're hoping to answer some questions for parents. These questions were submitted in advance, and we know parents are making tough decisions about their registration, so we're going to take some time today to try to answer the questions we got and try to give parents a better choice of options and understanding of what's available for the 2021 school year. Today, I have two other panelists with me, Dr. Mickey Reynolds, principal of Lake Mary High School, and Mr. Mike Rice, principal of Lyman High School. We thought it might be a good way to start the session by talking about what the day in the life of a student and what their schedule might look like with the hybrid options, because we get a lot of questions about that. So I'm going to turn it over right now to Dr. Mickey Reynolds so she can start and give some insights on what that might look like. Dr. Reynolds?
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like to talk about what if your child would like to have the hybrid option of Seminole Connect, which means your child actually is in the classroom from their computer at home at the very time the class is occurring, and face-to-face. And I have a number of families who are choosing this option, usually because they're part of a special program on campus they don't want to miss out on. I'm going to use my marionettes as an example. The students who are marionettes maybe want to come to campus for their dance class, but the rest of the classes they want to take Seminole Connect. So how does that work? It's a little tricky with the scheduling because you have to be on the computer at the right time of classes for the Connect, while face-to-face you have to be on campus. Obviously, there needs to be travel time. So what we will do, each school and each guidance staff will work with families to try to put together the best schedule possible to give you travel time. That might mean that you need a buffer period, and frankly, with the alternating block schedule, you might need 2 buffer periods. So the guidance staff may say to you, maybe you should take 4 Connect classes, choose the 4 Connect classes, 2 classes through, say, a Seminole virtual option, and then the 1 face-to-face. Or we might attempt to schedule your face-to-face classes on alternating blocks. For example, if your face-to-face classes are periods 2, 4, and 6 that meet one day, and next day is 1, 3, 5, 7, then you would be going to school every other day. So we've all talked with our guidance staffs about really working with you with the hybrid option to try to put together the schedule that's going to work best, and we will do the best we can to accommodate your needs, and we'll all have to be flexible.
So what I'd like to offer is another option. It's great to be here today as well. And the other option that you have is the face-to-face in combination with the Seminole County Virtual School. In this option, it's something that we've always done in high schools on a normal basis. So this is not anything that's new, but on a regular day, you may schedule your periods. For us, we're on a block schedule, so 1 and 3 as a face-to-face course, and then you would leave campus and take the Seminole Virtual School. The nice thing about Seminole Virtual School is you're not held to a certain time to actually be in the class, whereas if you're with the Seminole Connect option, you need to be online at a specific time for that class period. Seminole Virtual offers that flexibility and the option for you to do your work and to turn in and submit your assignments and to get online at your time and at your leisure. So those are the 2 main options. I do want to throw a third option in there. You could also pick the hybrid option that involves Seminole Connect, where you're at home learning from your school's instructors and the teachers, and then also work that with your Seminole County Virtual School classes. So you'd be doing some courses at home with your zone school or the school that you attend, and other classes with Seminole County Virtual. There is a third piece in there if you want to kind of throw that in there as well, and we do have dual enrollment. We have a great partnership with Seminole State College, and if you want to throw that as a part of your mix, you can do so as well. And as Dr. Reynolds mentioned, our counselors will be reaching out to you at the conclusion of the survey period after the 24th, and they'll be talking to you about what that option will look like for you.
If I could just add one more thing. What I have told my guidance staff, and it's the same that all principals have told their staff, if as a family you are looking at the hybrid option, you could expect to hear personally from a counselor. We will be calling families and having phone conferences to really discuss what the priorities are. So we'll start with your priority scheduling requests, and then we'll move from there with flexibility. I also want to add about the dual enrollment. Parents, we usually have our upperclassmen take dual enrollment, It is available for all grades, but you must have a 3.0 for any academic dual enrollment classes, and then any vocational classes requires a 2.5. And we recommend life and career planning or college success as kind of a starter course for those who are interested in just attempting their first class in dual enrollment, because those are really preparation classes.
Thank you, Dr. Reynolds and Mr. Rice. I want to remind parents that if you take the Seminole Connect option or the Seminole County virtual option through Save My Seat, you are still registered as a student at your zone school or your school of choice through our student assignment option. So that does not change. You're still a student for that school. A next question that we have is what is the difference between Seminole County Virtual School and Seminole Connect? And there are some major differences. And Mr. Rice and Dr. Reynolds mentioned some of those. With Seminole Connect, you will be taught at home through virtual means and a webcam or some kind of a video system by the teachers that are at your school. And you will have to take the classes during the periods they have them. So for example, if it's a first period English class, and that's what you end up scheduled for through Seminole Connect, you're going to have to be on your computer logged in as a student first period. Students will be teachers will be taking attendance to make sure that you are online and in attendance during that period. With Seminole County Virtual School, the Save My Seat option or full-time Seminole County Virtual School, you are able to do those classes on your own time. The virtual teachers will contact you to check on you. They do intense review with you and make sure that you're learning the material, but you're not scheduled at a certain time during the day. So those are the big differences between what we're looking at for Seminole County Virtual, Save My Seat, and Seminole Connects. Dr. Reynolds?
Okay, the next question that was posted is, are the same electives offered face-to-face available for Seminole Connect and Seminole County Virtual School? Great question. So yes, the same electives that we offer face-to-face are offered through Seminole Connect. Again, because you are through a web interface, participating in the class virtually, the class that is actually going on campus at that time, which means you have access to all the electives that are typically on campus and that are offered in our course catalogs. Seminole County Virtual School has their own list of electives. There's quite a few electives open to you, but they're not necessarily the same. So my recommendation is to go to the Seminole County Virtual School website and take a look at their course offerings if you want more information about their electives.
So the next question that I have for you today that was submitted is, will the same high school teacher be teaching both face-to-face and Seminole Connect simultaneously? So I want to talk about this from a philosophical standpoint. I know we as high school principals all are feeling the same way, that it is our belief that we want the teacher to have a class in isolation that would allow for that teacher to be focused on the students that are taking Seminole Connect. There's a lot of factors that go into whether or not we can do that, and one of those being the number of students that register. And so, for example, if you have a course like Algebra 1 that 25 students decide that they are going to take Seminole Connect in that option, then it is our hope and our desire to set that one course up so that teacher will teach either first period or second period solely to students through the web, through the Seminole Connect option. I can tell you again, there's many factors that go into that would inhibit that, which might include the student schedule. Maybe they're taking Automotive 3 as what we call a singleton. It's a class that's only offered during one period of the school day. And if that is something that conflicts with that child's Algebra 1 class, then it's likely that we would not be able to say, for that student, he would be taking that Seminole Connect in isolation. So in that case, the teacher may be teaching students on campus as well as teaching the students through Seminole Connect simultaneously.
Next question is, how does International Baccalaureate IB programs of emphasis, our POEs, and all of our magnets work for at-home options? I'm going to break this up into two things. For Seminole Connects, the students would be able to take those classes just as we described earlier through some kind of a web interface video system. So the students would take the class during the period it's offered for those courses and interact with the teacher just as they would for other classes. Seminole County Virtual School does not offer all of those classes that our magnets would offer or POEs would offer. So if you're thinking about doing Seminole County Virtual Save My Seat, and stay with the program, either a POE or IB or any other magnet, you really need to check on the course that you need, because it's different 9 through 12, and get with the school and make sure they do offer that course so you can stay in the program. The other question is, how would dual enrollment work for at home? That's a little bit easier, because dual enrollment, as you know, is done through our colleges, either SSC or University of Central Florida. And you would just basically take those courses at times when they're offered by the university. Many of them will be online this year, we know that, so you'll be able to do those at your leisure. But you can take those courses as an at-home student through Seminole Connect or through Seminole County Virtual and be able to stay in the dual enrollment program. Dr. Reynolds?
Okay, the next question is, will AP classes, and that's advanced placement classes, still be available through face-to-face, Seminole County Virtual School, and Seminole Connect? So at this point, our master schedulers, we call them, those are our administrators in charge of our putting together our schedule, still have all of the AP classes we have offered in the past scheduled for this year. So definitely face-to-face students may take those classes, and Seminole Connect students may take those classes. Again, it's possible that one of those classes is a singleton. I know for us at Lake Mary High School, Physics C is only offered one period of the day. So if you are face-to-face, obviously we'll schedule you into that period, but Seminole Connect into that period too at that time frame. So that's that priority. If that's your priority, we have to build your schedule around it. However, not all AP classes are offered through Seminole County Virtual School. Almost all of them are, but there are a couple, and I think physics is one, and I think chemistry is one. If you go to the Seminole County Virtual School website, you will see their listing of AP courses. They have the majority of the ones that we have for face-to-face and Seminole Connect, with a couple of exceptions. But yes, we will be full steam ahead with our advanced placement program. It's something we're very proud of, and that program really challenges our students and prepares them for college, potentially even college credit. So we will absolutely offer all of those classes for face-to-face and Connect.
All right, so the next question is, our CTE programs, that's our career and technical education programs, are they offered through both Seminole Connect and SCVS? Just as Mickey mentioned, Dr. Reynolds mentioned, with our AP programs, we are also very proud of all of our CTE courses and the industry certifications our students have been offered over the years, and we continue to grow in those areas. The Seminole Connect program will offer and will allow all CTE programs to continue and for students to take those courses through the Seminole Connect program. As far as Seminole County Virtual School, that is something that you would have to look a little bit more into the specific programs. Each high school has their specialty courses and programs that work for those schools and those schools only. So I would suggest that you go on the Seminole County Virtual School website. They have a listing of all their courses, and you can check to see if those courses for CTE are available.
Next, we have a question about how extracurriculars would work for at-home options, and that would include things like band and chorus and dance and athletics. For students who are doing Seminole Connect or Seminole County Virtual Save My Seat, they are still a member of the school, so they will be able to participate in those activities. Now, I would remind parents to keep in mind that many of those activities take practices and things like that, and I'll use chorus as just one example. If they are working on some kind of a show or a series of songs, the students are going to have practice time. School principals, administrators, and teachers are working out how would that look? How would they get practice time if they're doing it from home? We think it's going to be possible through various means, but there's going to have to be times when students need to be able to sing with the chorus, not necessarily in person, but through some kind of a means of audio-video enhancement. Same thing with athletics. You obviously have to practice with the team so the coach can evaluate how you can play. So there are other concessions that may have to happen if they're looking at the extracurricular side of things, if it's an at-home student. And that will be worked out through the schools and through the different coaches and also through the sponsors. But the answer to the question is yes, they will be able to participate. We're not going to exclude students who are part of the Seminole Connect or part of the Seminole County Virtual Save My Seat option. The next question kind of fits into that. It's a very simple question. Has marching band been canceled for the fall? And the answer is no. Marching band has not been canceled at our high schools for the fall. I would say right now, no decision has been made on exactly what's going to happen to move forward because we just made decisions on sports. So we have to kind of wait and see exactly how that's going to look. I know every principal and every school and probably every band director would love to have a regular marching season. We have to make sure that we can do that. But as of right now, no. Marching season has definitely not been canceled. And the next question, which falls right into it, about fall sports resuming official practices, that decision was made yesterday and it was put out. So this question may be old now, but I'll go ahead and let everyone know that we are looking at an August 31st start date right now for practices for our fall sports. And I can give a little insight into that. We wanted to make sure the school year started, which we know we are starting school coming up 2 weeks before that. We wanted to get school year started so we can kind of see what's happening on our campuses and make sure we have everything running smoothly before we looked at starting athletics and getting the athletes out there. We will look at safety protocols. We're working on those now, and that also bought us a little time to make sure that we have the correct safety protocols in place before our fall sports happen. So right now, August 31st is Seminole County's official start date as of today for our fall practices to begin. Dr. Reynolds?
Okay, thank you. I have the next question, and the question is, are high schoolers required to wear masks all day? So let me start by informing you that we had a committee of educators from around Seminole County Public Schools who worked all summer to develop a reopening plan that was submitted to the Florida Department of Education and approved just less than a week ago, actually. And in that reopening plan, we have a policy for face coverings. So I believe that plan is posted to the Seminole County Public School website if you would like to read the reopening plan and read the exact language. The language does read that students will wear face coverings when they are in a public place such as hallways, when they're arriving at school, when they're in hallways, when they are leaving school, and when they are in the cafeteria spaces, except for when they are seated, socially distanced, and eating. It also states that students will wear face coverings anytime they cannot be socially distant from another person at school. So this begs the question, what if we have a classroom of 25 students and the teacher cannot arrange the classroom in a way that the students are 6 or more feet apart? In that case, it's possible that a student would have to wear a face covering during class. That's not going to happen in every single class. We are really working to schedule the seats for students so that we can socially distance them. So when they get in their class and at their seat, they would be able to remove their face covering. I just want to kind of add to this question a little bit to say that, as a school principal, before COVID or any of this, student safety has always been my priority, as well as every other principal in Seminole County Public Schools. And this is no different. We are really spending a lot of time carefully developing protocols to keep our students safe. And one of those protocols is face coverings because we take advice from the Center for Disease Controls. The CDC puts out guidelines and then we follow them to the best of our ability. But our priority is safety. And so that's why the face coverings when students can't be socially distanced are just a really critical part of that safety plan. So I hope that answers that question.
Thank you. A question I have is, what if my student needs a laptop for at-home options? Will those be loaned again, and if so, how? And the simple answer is yes. We are going to make sure that we put a plan in place for students who are at home learning to receive a laptop if they do not have one. And one of the things that we did last year were the drive-throughs, where students and parents could come through without having to go into the school and check out laptops. And the schools actually did an excellent job of that. So that's something we would look at again. And a change this year, especially if you have younger students and not only high school students, is you would get the laptop from your zone school or the school that your student is assigned to. So if you have a student in elementary school and you need a laptop, you would get it from that elementary school. If you have a student in middle, the same, and in high school, you would get it from the high school. The high schools, and I'll speak to that since this is the high school session, will be sending out information on that once they develop those plans. One of the things we don't know, as everyone knows, is how many students exactly are going to be in each option because it doesn't close till Friday at noon. So we have to wait and get those numbers before we can realize exactly what our needs are for laptops, because just because we have a certain amount of kids doing at-home learning doesn't mean all of those students need a laptop. So there's a couple steps we have to take, but the high schools will be prepared. They did it before and it worked out very well. They'll be prepared to make sure that happens. So the answer is yes, and more information will be coming on exactly how you can get those laptops. Another question is, if students start face-to-face, but things related to the COVID-19 worsen, can they switch to Seminole Connect or virtual school, and if so, when? Well, right now, yes, students can switch to Seminole Connect or from Seminole Connect at the 9 weeks. For virtual school, it's a semester. So yes, we do have options available for students to be able to switch. If the question is, if things worsen and we have to do something else with schools as far as face-to-face, we would then have to look at the options that are available. The good thing is, since we will already have a Seminole Connect option in place with our Seminole County Public Schools teachers, we would be able to transition to that and make sure that works. Not easily, but fairly smoothly compared to the way we had to do it 4th 9 weeks when we really had a week to figure everything out. So we do have some options in place, but yes, students can transition at the 9 weeks for Seminole Connect or at the semester for Seminole County Virtual Save My Seat, and we do have those options available. Mr. Rice?
Okay, so there's a great question here, and it asks, if my student is a senior but takes Seminole Connect or Seminole County Virtual School, will they still receive a diploma and participate in graduation from their zoned school? And I want to emphasize, it does say zone school in this question, but this also may be if you are a transfer student that has transferred to another school, this applies to you as well. The beautiful thing, as Dr. Reynolds mentioned, about the team that came together and spent all summer looking at plans and developing what methodologies that can be put into place for this year, is that they looked at how can we support all families and all students throughout the process so that we have the least amount of change as possible and we can continue with all the great things that we do in Seminole County. And with that, the answer to this question regarding will they still receive a diploma and participate in graduation is yes. It is a great thing for us to be able to provide you that diploma from the school that you have been attending, even though we have the situation going on with COVID-19. So yes, you still will graduate and receive that diploma.
So you have a question about how will a positive COVID-19 test be handled at the high school level? And I think that's a great question and on a lot of parents' minds. And I can tell you we have a coordinator of medical and health student services here in Seminole County Public Schools who is actually currently working on all of those protocols and procedures. And we have seen those procedures and protocols. We haven't made them public yet because we are still finalizing them, because we make sure we get information from the CDC, the Seminole County Health Department, and get input. And administrators will be hearing all about those very soon towards the end of the week, and we'll have more information on that. But what I can tell parents is there will absolutely be protocols and procedures on how to deal with that, with recommendations from both the CDC and the Seminole County Health Department to make sure that when we get a positive test, whether it be an adult or a student, that we handle things in a healthy way, in a safe way, and make sure that we notify the people that need to be notified as far as contact and move forward. So protocols and procedures are being handled by the right people with the expertise, and we will make sure that all administrators and all schools know that, and that will end up being a front-loading document, so parents will also know what is happening. So more information to come on that. Dr. Reynolds?
Okay, so the next question is, what will the cleaning schedule look like on our high school campuses? We are in process. We have a great facilities services department, and they are in process of developing protocols that all custodial staffs will be following in terms of cleaning the school, both during the school day to hit touch points, water fountains, bathrooms, the places where people put their hands the most during the school day, and then of course what will happen at the end of the school day when students are gone to disinfect each classroom. My understanding is that we will all have high-grade disinfecting misters. You may have seen these on television for use on both school buses and in classrooms. Now, I'll also tell you that individual principals, may tweak the plan a little bit in terms of moving the hours of some of their custodians. I know at Lake Mary High School, we're putting more manpower, we're adding manpower to the school day to hit those touch points. All the doorways where students touch with their hands, and classroom doors and bathrooms. So we're adding to our staff to make sure that while students are in their block periods, we have custodial staff going through and disinfecting as many places as possible. And then, of course, when the students leave, that every single classroom gets cleaned according to protocol and disinfected. So we are really ramping up how we clean our schools. Should be the cleanest that they've ever been. I'm excited. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. Both Mr. Rice and I are going to answer it, but I will start. The next question is, how will high schools handle hallway flow and keeping large groups during class changes small? I want to start by saying that all high schools are moving to a block schedule. That is a recommendation from the CDC. The recommendation is that we minimize the number of hallway passage times and the number of students teachers see each day. The best way to do that is to go to a block schedule. So there's that. Now, some schools, like my school, I don't really have an opportunity to create one-way hallways the way my school is structured. However, we are going to be training our students on safety protocols, and one that I plan on really hitting home with is when you're traveling the hallways, always stay to the right. If no matter what direction you're going, you're always staying to the right, that will help us with our flow. Mr. Rice at his high school, at Lyman High School, has a little different situation, so I'll let him speak to that.
Yeah, we do have a little different situation at Lyman, and knowing a lot of our schools, Lake Mary is one of the few that has mostly indoor campus. So what I'm speaking of here is probably going to be some things that other schools are either looking at as well. So we are looking at one-way hallways, and we are going to be looking at increasing the amount of time in between classes so that students, we recognize that if you go one way, you're not going to be able to get directly to the class that's right next door. So you may have to go around. So we're going to extend a little bit of the time to allow for students to travel down this hallway one way and get around the building and then back to the other classes or the other buildings. One of the nice features about our school is that we have a courtyard as well, and we will encourage students. The question kind of talks about some large groups and how are we going to minimize that. We are going to encourage students to space out throughout the courtyard. A lot of times there's areas that students tend to congregate, and we're going to be working with our teams and our security teams as well to ensure that students are spaced out a little bit more during those passing times. So one-way hallways are an area that we're looking at. If we can't do a one-way hallway like Lake Mary and Dr. Reynolds mentioned, then we will be doing on the right side is one way, and on the left side would be the other way.
The next question, Dr. Reynolds and Mr. Rice both kind of answered, but I want to expand on it. And the question was, are all high schools moving to block scheduling? Most of our high schools were on block scheduling. Those that were not did move to block scheduling. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I want to give the high school teams a lot of credit and the principals a lot of credit. They started over a month ago working on this and looking at the block schedules. And the amazing thing that happened, I think, was the schools that were already on block looked at their block and tried to figure out how can we make this work better for the safety and health of our students. And they looked at things like adding an extra lunch so the lunchroom was not as crowded, eliminating passing times in between classes, because obviously the less passing time you have, the less chance kids have of interacting and not being socially distanced. So I just wanted to comment on that. Yes, all high schools are on block, and many of our high schools have looked at changing the block they were on just to make sure that what they're doing makes sense for the safety of our students as our students that choose the face-to-face option come back on our campuses. So thank you to all the high schools for that. Another question is, are electives available from Florida Virtual School as well as Seminole County Virtual School? Seminole County Virtual School is a franchise of Florida Virtual School. So we offer in Seminole County Virtual School what Florida Virtual School offers. We obviously promote Seminole County Virtual School for many reasons. One of them is it's our own teachers, and we know the teachers that we have in Seminole County Virtual School, and they're hired and selected because of their passion and what they do and their commitment to the Seminole County Virtual School and Seminole County students. So Seminole County Virtual School is a franchise, and we do offer the same classes and have our own teachers in Seminole County. And we're very, very proud of that. The last question before I turn it over to Dr. Reynolds, how are our high schools handling students with IEPs or special needs? And that's a great question, and I know Dr. Walsh and her team are working on this, but I can tell you that we'll provide the same services for our at-home students that we would provide for the face-to-face students. We'll make sure that those students receive their services. And I want to remind parents, it's driven by their IEP, so it's very individualized. We can't say that all students will receive this service or all students will receive that service because it does depend on what's in the IEP. And of course, there's parent information that comes into that and parent input. But the Exceptional Student Services Support Group will make sure that students that have IEPs will be given support for the at-home learning, just like we would if we were face-to-face. We'll make sure that happens. Dr. Reynolds?
Okay, the next question involves testing, everybody's favorite subject. What will high school testing look like this year? Will the FSA still happen, EOCs, ACTs, and SATs? Well, I can tell you that at this point, the Florida Department of Education